Dear students, in this session we will discuss about the contrast between engineering projects versus standard experiments. The scientific experiments in the laboratory and the engineering experiments in the field exhibits several contrasts that are listed below. We will discuss it one by one. The first one is experimental control. In standard experiments, members for study are selected in two groups, namely Group A and Group B at random. Group A are given special treatments. The Group B is given no treatment and is called controlled group. Right? The Group B is called controlled group, but they are placed in the same environment and the situation as the group A, as the other group A. This process is called the experimental control. This process is called experimental control. This practice is adopted in the field of medicine, right? This practice is adopted in the field of medicine. In engineering, this never happen. This never happen except when the project is confined to laboratory experiment. This is because the clients or customers who uh, choose the product exercise the control. It is not possible to make a random selection of the participants from various groups. In engineering, through random sampling, the survey is made from among the users to access the result of the product which we deliver to the society. The second one is human touch. In engineering, experimentation involves human souls, their needs and views, expectations, and creative use in case of social experimentation to meet out the requirement of the customer and consumer. This point of view is not agreed by many engineers, but as of now, the quality engineers and managers have fully realized this human aspect to meet out the customer requirement and market aspects. But in the case of scientific experiment, it never happens. So that is the difference between engineering experimentation and scientific experimentation in contrast. Third one is informed consent. Engineering experiment viewed as social experiment since the subject and the beneficiary are human beings. In this respect, it is similar to medical experimentation on human beings. In case of medical practices, moral and legal rights have been recognized while planning for any kind of experimentation. Informed consent is practiced in medical experimentation. Such a practice is not there in scientific laboratory experiments. Right? So this is the difference between the informed consent in engineering experimentation as well as scientific experimentation. Next, the informed consent has two basic elements. One is knowledge and second one is voluntariness. What is knowledge is? The subject should be given all relevant information needed to make the decision to participate in the project. Next one is voluntariness. Subject should take part without force, fraud or dissipation. Respect for rights of minors to dissent and compensate for harmful effect are assumed here. For a valid consent, the following conditions are to be fully satisfied. The first point is the consent must be voluntary. The second one is all relevant information shall be presented, stated in a clear, clear format and understandable form. Third one is the consenter shall be capable of processing the information and make a rational decision. The fourth one is the consent, the subject's consent may be offered in proxy by a group that represents many subject of like interest. Informed consent when bring an engineering project or a product to the market, which implies letting the customer knows the following points: the knowledge about the product, risk and benefit of using the product. The next one is all relevant information on the product, such as how to use and how not to use. These kind of things has to be given to the customers. The relevant factual information implies that the engineers are obliged to obtain and access the available information related to the fulfillment of one moral obligation, including the intended, unintended impact of the product on the society. Still, there is a possibility of a large gap of understanding between experimenters and the subject. Sometimes the management have not been willing to disseminate the full information about the project or a product which they are going to deliver in a particular area, right, beyond the legal requirements because of the fear of potential competitions and likely exposure to the potential litigations. In case of Kudankulam power project as well as the Sethu Samuthiram canal project, Tamil Nadu, several citizens groups, including fishermen's forums, have responded. In central government was able to contain many harsh appearances and protracted legal and political battles by providing all relevant information. So this informed consent is very essential while implementing any kind of engineering project into the society. The fourth one is knowledge gained. Not much of new knowledge is developed in engineering experimentation. As in case of scientific experiments in the laboratory, we will gain a new knowledge and new kind of formulation we will develop. Engineering experiment at the most help us to, the first point is verify the adequacy of the design. The second one is to check the stability of the design and parameters. Third point is prepare for the unexpected outcome in the actual field environments, from the model tested in the laboratory to the pilot plant tested in the field. There are difference in performance as well as other outcome has to be focused. This is knowledge gained while preparing engineering project. Thank you. These are all the differences and contrast between engineering project and standard experiment. Thank you. Thank you all.